Would you believe it if I told you that the word spirit in alcohol has a hidden meaning, one that whispers of ancient alchemy, forgotten sorcery, and the very essence of the soul itself? This is not just a coincidence of language. The connection between alcohol and spirits runs far deeper than most realize. It is a tale of transformation, of elements, of consciousness, of fate itself. For centuries, alcohol has been a paradox. To some, it is a key, a portal to loosen the chains of the mind, to access deeper truths, to dissolve the barriers between the seen and the unseen. To others, it is a trap, an elixir that lowers the soul's defenses, making it vulnerable to forces beyond its understanding. But what if both are true? Join me. Let's peel back the layers of time and language to uncover the esoteric meaning of Al-Kuhl, the word that gave birth to alcohol, a word that, in its origin, spoke of purification, yet also carried the warning of something far more mysterious. Prepare yourself. What you are about to discover may change the way you see the world and yourself forever. Words carry power. They are vessels of knowledge, echoes of forgotten wisdom. And the word alcohol, or more precisely Al-Kuhl, is no exception. Its origins lie in the ancient Arabic term Al-Kuhl, which once referred not to a drink, but to something far more refined, a purified, concentrated essence. In its earliest usage, it described a fine black powder extracted through meticulous alchemical processes, used as coal to darken the eyes. But to the alchemists of old, kuhl was more than mere cosmetics. It was the result of a sacred art, the art of distillation. In the secretive world of medieval alchemy, distillation was a process of separation. Fire and water, vapor and essence. The alchemists believed that by purging a substance of its impurities, they could extract its soul, its spirit. And so, Al-Kuhl came to mean not just purified substances, but purified consciousness, distilled essence, and eventually, the volatile liquid we now call alcohol. But here is where the meaning takes a darker turn. While alchemists sought to separate the pure from the impure, they also knew that what remained was not always benevolent. Many believed that alcohol did not merely alter the mind, it thinned the barrier between the physical and the unseen, allowing other forces to take hold. It was revered as a mystical elixir, a tool for transcendence, but also feared as a substance capable of possession. Could it be that this ancient knowledge was never lost, only ignored? Words are not chosen by accident. They carry echoes of ancient truths preserved in plain sight. And so we must ask, why is alcohol called spirits? Across cultures and centuries, the connection between alcohol and unseen forces has been well known. To drink was not merely to intoxicate the body, it was to open a doorway. Shamans, mystics, and priests understood this, warning that alcohol could blur the boundaries between worlds. That under its influence, one could become susceptible, not just to suggestion, but to possession. In Vodou, certain rituals involve alcohol to summon lower, spiritual beings who temporarily inhabit the body of the initiated. In ancient Greece, the cult of Dionysus drank wine to enter frenzied states where divine forces could speak through them. Even in Christianity, there exists the notion of the Holy Spirit descending upon the faithful, a sacred counterpart to the intoxicating spirits that lower one's defenses. But what happens when this process is not guided, when alcohol is consumed without sacred intent? Many traditions warn that excessive drinking does not invite enlightenment, but rather invites something else. Lower vibrational entities, wandering spirits, hungry energies, forces that seek a vessel, a body unguarded. The drunkard becomes easy prey, their consciousness slipping, their will weakened. Have you ever seen someone black out from alcohol, acting as if they are no longer themselves? Some say this is not simply a chemical reaction, but an occupancy. This is why, in ancient times, alcohol was not taken lightly. It was a tool of transformation, of ritual, of divine communion. But in the wrong hands, or consumed recklessly, it could become a gateway for forces unseen. The question then arises, if alcohol can open the door, who or what steps through? There are few substances in this world as paradoxical as alcohol. It is both praised and condemned, used to celebrate life, yet blamed for ruin. It is called spirits for a reason, and like all spirits, it can either elevate or consume you. In the temples of the ancient world, fermented drinks were not merely indulgences, they were sacraments. The Sufis of Persia, the shamans of Siberia, the initiates of the Eleusinian mysteries, all understood that, when used correctly, alcohol could alter perception, lifting the veil that shrouds reality. It could dissolve the rigid walls of the mind, allowing glimpses of something beyond, the vast, infinite sea of the unknown. But there was a warning woven into every sacred tradition. Alcohol must be approached with wisdom, for it is a double-edged blade. The same substance that can unshackle the mind can also strip it of its clarity. What begins as a tool for insight can spiral into addiction, confusion, and loss. Alchemists believed that true transformation requires balance, yet alcohol, when misused, can sever the tether between body and soul. It can make the user forget themselves, forget their purpose, their higher path. This is why the mystics always practiced control. In the Dionysian rites of ancient Greece, wine was central, but it was given only under the guidance of priests within sacred ceremony. In tantric traditions, alcohol was sometimes used in small amounts, not for pleasure, but to test one's discipline, to see if the mind could remain sovereign even as the body was altered. But in modern times, this wisdom has been lost. Alcohol is consumed not as a sacred key, but as an escape. It no longer connects, it disconnects. And so the question arises, is alcohol a force of expansion or a tool of decay? The answer lies not in the substance itself, but in who wields it and why. But what does alcohol truly do within us? What happens to our energy field, our spiritual essence when we drink? In a world driven by escapism, alcohol has become a quick and easy doorway, a way to silence the mind, numb the senses, and dissolve the weight of existence, even if only for a moment. But what if I told you that every sip is not just altering your state of mind, but shifting your very energetic frequency? Ancient mystics understood that everything we consume affects not only the body, but also the soul. And alcohol in particular is unique. It lowers inhibitions, but also weakens the spiritual barriers that protect us. In moments of intoxication, the mind is suggestible, emotions run wild, and one's sense of self becomes blurred. So, does alcohol truly free the mind, or does it make it more vulnerable? From an esoteric standpoint, alcohol can dim the very awareness that spiritual seekers spend years cultivating. It makes the subtle world less perceivable, the whispers of intuition harder to hear. In excess, it becomes a tool of distraction, pulling one away from inner mastery rather than toward it. Yet history also shows us another side, one where alcohol was consumed in small, controlled amounts during sacred rituals, not to escape, but to awaken. Shamans, monks, and initiates of the ancient world understood that when taken consciously, in sacred settings, alcohol could serve as a catalyst for altered states of perception. It was never about excess, it was about intention. And this is the key difference: mindful, sacred consumption versus unconscious indulgence. To drink with awareness is to recognize alcohol for what it is, a substance that holds both power and peril. To consume it mindlessly is to hand over control, to let the spirit of alcohol lead instead of your own. So ask yourself, when you drink, are you truly in control? Or are you opening a door without realizing what walks through? But if alcohol holds such influence over the mind and spirit, then what is the path forward? Should one avoid it entirely, or is there a way to reclaim its original purpose? If alcohol is called spirit, then what kind of spirits does it invite into your life? This is not just a poetic question. It is an ancient riddle, one that mystics, shamans, and sages have pondered for centuries. What we consume, we merge with. Every substance, every thought, every experience leaves its imprint on our consciousness. And alcohol, a force so deeply intertwined with both revelry and ruin, demands that we ask, who is truly in control? To walk the spiritual path is to cultivate awareness, not just of the unseen forces around us, but of the unseen forces within us. It is to move beyond ignorance and into wisdom, to choose conscious experience over blind indulgence. Does this mean one must renounce alcohol entirely? Not necessarily, but it does mean understanding its true nature. In the hands of the mindful, it can be a tool. In the hands of the unaware, it can be a snare. So, the choice is yours. When you drink, are you in control of the spirit, or is the spirit in control of you? This is only the beginning. The ancients did not only work with alcohol. There were other substances, hidden formulas, mystical elixirs, and sacred alchemical brews designed not to dull the mind, but to awaken it. In future explorations, we will uncover these secrets, how spiritual purification, sacred potions, and forgotten practices can elevate consciousness rather than cloud it. Until then, the question remains: if energy shapes reality and spirit moves energy, what are you allowing to shape yours? So, what do you think? Is alcohol a gift or a curse, a sacred key or a hidden chain? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's unravel this mystery together. If you crave more revelations on ancient wisdom, hidden truths, and practical spirituality, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. There is so much more to uncover. And remember this: not all spirits are seen. Not all intoxication comes from a bottle. And not all freedom is truly free. The real question is, who or what is drinking through you?